Ever. All right, everybody. There's nobody.
Cool.
We're live. 8 minutes late. We're going to talk about AI and could it replace coaching? Dude, maybe we should wait to share the story of those people as the punchline of how it doesn't replace coaching. 3 people. Come in the chat. What's up? Put your name in here. Before we got on, let's see if people, let me pull it up actually. Let's see if they have something. Oh, they do. Okay, here we go. I'll share this page. Came to our attention. Cody and I were talking about this today, and everybody knows. I mean, we're all the same coaches out here in the world of CrossFit, strength and conditioning. Training Think Tank. If you guys ever knew or did not know, they have courses. Pretty good. I've taken the strength course. I've done the mentorship. I'm not entirely sure what like the difference between level 1 and level 2 was. I did the mentorship early on when they were looking for coaches on site. So I think it's a completely different thing than any of this, but there are mentorships that you guys could do. Individualized mentorships. You can consult with a coach. They got coaching movement, coaching strength, which I've done. Coaching conditioning, they don't have out yet. Working on it. Texted Max today because the main point is sign up here with your email and subscribe to their email list, because if you guys watch these shows and you like education or you just want to know more about coaching, things of that nature, tomorrow at 1 p.m. is it Eastern time?
Mm-hmm.
I forget what they put. Either way, once you sign up, maybe you can get a link to it. But they're going to do a little Q&A coaching thing based on 3 of the YouTube shows, or episodes or whatever they call them, with Max at the whiteboard explaining certain things. One was about the barbell cycling style strength stuff. One was about mental toughness. What was the other one about, Tyler? Remember?
The best way to improve your CrossFit, I think, was the last one.
Gains. Yeah. So best way to make gains in CrossFit, mental toughness, and then there's one other one. Oh, I gave you guys. Yeah, strength endurance. There you go. I gave you guys 3 of the same videos. Anyways, yeah, check that out. Want to share that. When I got the email, I didn't know if it was for people who have only been in their courses. So then I texted Max and asked if it was okay if I shared it. He was like, yeah, it's for everybody. But I didn't get that intention from the email. And then I didn't know who got the email at all. But I sent it out to everybody to get on. So if you guys are, looking for some live virtual program workshop tomorrow, sign up for it.
There it is.
Yeah, I just want to share that. I have a conflict with Ruth Snap, 11:45 to 2 p.m. not a real conflict. All right. So anyway, sign up for that. trainthinktank.com/education. Very similar to like our stuff and everybody else's stuff. Nice little plug. They don't even know we plugged it. They don't even.
You're welcome.
No one has commented in the chat. Yeah, there's obviously going to be some sales pitch there of taking some of their courses or doing their mentorship, which is totally fine. That's how it goes. Running a business. But always good stuff. They give out a lot of free content. Lots of companies give out free content. There's great things there. So wanted to share that. Would have shared it sooner if I knew it was for everyone. I wanted to respect those that did like some of their courses and paid, because you never know what. Cody said he signed up last week, so there's that. Renata, hello. Sick. We got no help today, man. We are just flying solo. What's been going on with you, Tyler? What was the workout today?
It's rest day. It's Wednesday.
Dude, that's Wednesday.
Yeah.
What was your workout yesterday? How about that?
Yesterday I did some dumbbell strict press and lat pull downs, and then I did some
LPs.
Yeah. Some dumbbell flies, and then I had 3 sets of 15 cal ski into 10 tough dumbbell bench press, rest 30 seconds, 15 cal row into 20 alternating gorilla rows, rest 30 seconds, and then a 15 cal echo at like 95%, rest 2 minutes.
When you spell tough, you spell it Tuff.
No. No.
Tough cal rows. Tough.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Let's just pull this up. I wonder if I can. Oh, there we go. Sick. I don't even need Sophia. All right. So we got 2 people coming in the chat, but we got 4 people watching. I like the comments, people. I feel like it might boost our algorithm somehow, some way. I don't think
For
it does.
sure.
All right. Do you have a lat pull down machine?
Mm-hmm. So the gym I'm at has like a functional fitness section, but it also has like a traditional gym like machine section. So we've got a setup.
Nice. They go up? Okay, I'll bring us back. I'll add it to stage later. Yeah, AI. We'll just read the post. I was intrigued by this post, honestly. And like we're obviously in individualized coaching or in-person coaching when you guys are inside of a affiliate with us on site, or any of our coaches that are around the area coaching. Yeah, Harley DTC, Arsenal Health DTC. Go check it out. If you're in that area, get some in-person coaching, hands-on coaching. Nothing beats that hands-on coaching, realistically. And then there's also like, the wave of community stuff that's happening, like the runs, the big run clubs. So like there's no shortage of being in person and human unless you're Cody. Oh, what was your training today, Todd? Yes. My training today was, I didn't want to do it. I was really tired and beat up from everything else. And then I said to myself, Wednesdays, you wanted to squat more and you squat on Wednesday. So you got to get out there. And so again, classically, I did power cleans. This week, I beat Marissa. My coach. I beat her training. I was successful. I won. Today. I was able to do my power cleans every minute on the minute at my 80%. And I was victorious. Then I procrastinated by talking to one of our coaches / athletes / friend, Melissa Ellis, for far too long because I didn't want to squat. Also, she had important questions. And I had a question for her to bounce some ideas off her. And then I finally squatted. And this week I did 3 front squats heavy at a weight that I've been like trying to build back up to. So then I won again. Just kept winning. It was good. And I didn't even want to work out. Crazy. If I wore a Whoop, it'd probably tell me that I was like a 2%. Who knows? But yeah, it was pretty good. So I did power cleans and front squats. That was it. And I watched Meg do some Norwegian training. Ooh. Pretty good. And then I talked to Ricky and Melissa Ellis again about training. Let's see. What does he say? Those are fighting words. When you say beat her training. If I said that, she would cook up something that would take a piece of me. Yeah. So the thing is, like, I say that because it was more of a victory for myself. I should be able to do what she had me do, but because I'm so old and just terrible at fitness, it takes me a while. It takes me a while to beat the system. Today I won. I was actually, when I was doing it, I told Meg, because she was also doing power cleans, I was like, yeah, you got to be like Maddie Rogers right now. And then she didn't like really, I think she kind of got fired up by that. But then I was like trying to fire her up. So then I started saying like really prolific females in history. And I was like, oh yeah, you got to be like Amelia Earhart, like on this one. I was like Susan B. Anthony on this one. I thought it was pretty funny, but she was not very, I don't know. You'd have to ask her. Didn't seem like she was really into it. I was having a good time though. So that's all that matters. All right. AI for training. So this was the post that came up and I really enjoyed it a lot. So runners are turning to ChatGPT for training plans. And the first thing is, yes, running is very linear. So obviously, what would you say are the most common running structures? Yeah, like your easy days, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then most common people talk about fartlek,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you have like block training where it's like the or mile repeats or like mile and a half repeats,
Yeah.
or like run for 4 minutes rest and then 4 minutes of running or whatever, or like, yeah, however that works out for the athlete. And then is there any other really, I mean, you have your threshold day or speed day.
Yeah.
Right? And once you have those 4 major structures, like then it's training distribution throughout the week. And what I like about this post is like, honestly, beyond that, like that's all chatbot's really going to give you is like
Yeah.
those structures and like a mileage or linear progression through mileage
Mhm.
increase from the weeks, and try to balance those 3 to 4 training structures. And like you could prompt it and say like, I'm a really slow runner, so it might give you more speed days than easy days. I'm sure you could start putting in some training sessions you've done, and it could learn about you and get some information. But like now you see the steps, like the multiple steps you have to start doing to get this thing to give you a training program, just to give you a training program to follow.
Right.
Right. This is nothing else. So then like the next slide is growing shift in training habits. More runners are experimenting with ChatGPT to generate their training plans. If it's not replacing established methods, it's not replacing established methods, but it's become a visible part of how people are beginning to organize their weekly mileage. So, like I said, it's building off of, because AI is going to pull a lot of principles and even methods from the internet and give you suggestions and ideas, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. And I think even coaches like should be using AI to do that as well.
Well, and the thing with that slide specifically of like it's creating more habits, I think a lot of reasons that people either stop or are just so intermittent with their running or training in general is because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody going, here's what's next, it makes it a lot easier for them to actually just stick with it and keep going. So that one makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have a structured. I'm going to put
Right.
air quotes there because it's only giving you a structure based on, like, you could say I'm an advanced runner, and again, it's still going to just give you a general structure based on principles and methods that are most commonly pinged on the internet,
Mhm.
or what are relatively searched most often, or the bias that you have within your own chatbot of things that you've put in it before.
Yeah.
And then what the studies are showing is a 2024 study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine is that Chat GPT plans showed clear structure, although they were not rated optimal and improved only when the runners provided detailed input. And 2025 survey in the Journal of Medicine, internet research recorded rising curiosity and trust among athletes testing AI and generating routines. So that's like one of the bigger punchlines for me as far as like AI, like, because you could play this out with squats. I guarantee you it's going to end up being the same thing where it's just not, it's not optimal training for
Right.
you. Like as good as you can get at prompting it, it's never, like, just in general, it's never going to be as good as somebody going, okay. Cause like the scenario of a coach, you could take a coach and say, look, the coach is going to chatbot. I want to get my squat stronger. Well, we could do that. You pull that up. Just put in, make my squat stronger and see what comes up. I want to get my squat. I want to improve my back squat. And
Okay.
then you read that bot. We'll see what it says. So then from there, like, it's probably going to give you something like, oh, do a 5x5 or do like a 5-3-1. Or it's going to say, hey, there's days that you got to do a heavy squat and there's days that you might need to increase volume. And it obviously is going to start off with something conservative of building neuromuscular efficiency and learning the movement pattern. And it might give you some accessory moves to improve your squat. Let's see
All
generally
right.
what you come up with.
It says number 1, dial in your technique. Bracing, stance, bar path, depth, tight upper back.
So
Number
neuromuscular.
2, yeah. So number 2, program to build your 1RM, 8 to 12 weeks. They give options. 5-3-1.
Oh,
And then
perfect.
they go through the 5-3-1. Or option B, daily undulating periodization. They do 3 like 3 squatting days for the week.
Yeah.
And then they do option C of doing
What
a
are the
top
3 days?
set.
What are the 3 days?
So a heavy day of for their first example is 4x3 at 85 to 90%. Day 2 is volume of 5x5 at 75 to 80%. And then day 3 is speed, 6 sets of 2 at 60 to 65%.
Perfect. Okay.
And then their option C is top set plus back off work. And that's the chatbot says that that's their favorite for a 1RM.
I mean, I
and then
like doing drop sets. I like doing like build to heavy and then, you know, an EMOM or something. So you get extra reps in there at
yeah.
a lower percentage or
Last
like
time
of the heavy from that day.
I PR'd my back squat back in January. That's what I was doing. I was doing a
Yeah.
top set and then back off sets.
The reason why well, you could ask chatbot, but the reason why that happens is because you get the neuro adaptation, and then you get some potentiation when you drop down. So then the subsequent sets are a little bit easier. It gives you opportunity to repattern movement and build a little bit stronger in that range of whatever you're doing with a squat.
Yeah. Oh, it actually says that. It says for the top set, it says this builds neural strength and workload.
Wow, amazing. I'm chatbot. I am chatbot. All right.
And then it gives accessory exercises, front squats, pause squats, tempo squats, high bar, low bar. It gives sticking points. So you can work through your sticking points. Pin squats, pause squats again, safety bar, and then it gives like core work for if your core collapses, knee cave, so banded squats, glute med work.
That's a lot of things to decide on.
Yeah, and then it's not it. And then it talks about recovery. So it talks about protein and sleep and carbs and technique work. And then it says how to test your 1-rep max the right way.
Nice.
No.
Nate, potentiation is not the word of the week. I'm sorry that you were doing strict presses into strict handstand push-ups, and the strict press was effectively potentiating the strict handstand push-up because of the overload principle. It just happens to be in your program, my dude. You know, and then it happened to be today on chatbot because it is a principle. All right. Chatbot, good job. Gave us a bunch of information, which now you got to figure out what to do with it and choose your exercises and everything else. And, you know, that goes back to like the slide from like optimal and what the research they did is that like, that's not really optimal. So one, you got to figure it out. You got these 3 options and you could easily be like, all right, I'm a very smart person. I'm going to start with the 5-3-1. I'm going to do that for 6 weeks. Then I'm going to do this undulated, undulated volume or what was it? All undulated?
Daily undulating.
Daily undulation. I'm going to do that for 6 weeks. And then what was the last one?
The top set. Yeah.
The top sets. Top set, drop set. I'm going to do that for 6 weeks. And now you got yourself 18 weeks. So almost a half a year of training that you could do. In that amount of time, are there going to be times where you go on vacation or you get sick or you get injured?
Yep.
You know, how many exercise science studies, number of participants that were injured in the training, like could not resume the training. It's like so many because it just happens. Like life happens. We're living, breathing organisms that have so many variables. And like, yeah, sure, you could shut those variables out and just try to like dial it in and focus. And that's okay. And like lower efforts within those days and everything else and still get the training in and get a adaptation. But chatbot's not going to cut in and be like, you know, Todd, you should probably get out there and do those power cleans and front squats that you have programmed because you're a weak mofo and you want to be a strong mofo. So not doing it today just because you're not motivated doesn't really fly the kite.
Yep.
You know? And that's a good one. Fly the kite. Yeah, chatbot's not going to do that for you. I just think of what Marissa would say if I didn't do it.
What would Marissa say?
Actually, I don't even know. I think she'd be like, "Oh, it's fine." I don't know. I mean, it's me. It's different. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what she would say. For me, she just kind of leaves it alone. I get home. She's like, "Shame, shame." Just points at me. That would suck. Dude, that would be not good. All right. Next slide, though. Okay. What science says about AI plans. Beyond running studies, research shows clear limitations in AI-generated exercise advice. the paper by so-and-so. You can check that out. Missed key elements of clinical guidance while evaluation. There were gaps in safety screening, progression, and the findings show that they still struggle with the nuance required for individual training. That's kind of what we went over. Like, what are some nuances that beyond like motivation, what are some training nuances that AI would miss?
Well, I mean, just thinking about like the back squat and it's talking about like your sticking point. I know people, they don't know what their sticking point is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and so that entire section is, they're like, it's useless to them because they don't know how to deal with that. Right.
right.
So having somebody that can actually watch your squat and watch where your sticking point actually is, you know, I think, I mean, I did this with a client this week. I had put in his training for this week and he texted me on Sunday and he was like, I'm really beat up. And so he's doing a deload week this week because he's beat up and he feels phenomenal now. Like you talked about, the chat GPT is just going to like, here's your blocks, just do them. And if it doesn't fall on a deload week, it still expects you to do it.
Right. And that's like the biggest thing of a human coach, and whether that's a coach in a class or a one-on-one coach that you can communicate with. And like, you could do that work, you know, yourself with AI, and it works pretty well. But again, you have to go back to AI. You got to pull up the conversation. You got to write it in. Like, that's so much mental energy and front end energy when you have, and just in general, the human experience. Like, we had athletes in here today on site training that I have an opportunity to speak with about their training and specifics about their training and help them with those things. You know, and I don't even coach two of them and just dial it in a little bit more in their training. Chatbot's not going to do that in the real time moment. Maybe one day when we got robots walking around and like, but not anytime soon. And the fact that I understand training, I'm almost a walking, like how Cody said, sounds like Cody AI. Like, we become so good as coaches that we end up, you know, having this knowledge stored in our brain, and you don't need AI. Like, I don't need to get on, is it useful for like idea generation, reformatting, maybe even if you put in your own progression into it and you want it like tailored out or cleaned up a little bit, it'll help you with that. But if you're not Cody AI, it's not going to give you something quality. And I think that's the other thing too, of that creates huge limitations, that like, you're not even following a quality plan. You can't make adjustments. There's no deeper thought process. There's not someone to talk to, and no human connection. Like, that's what's even crazy about like blog programs that people just follow, like in gyms, you know. And I know they like, we had an athlete recently sign up who was really interested in having the community of stuff, which is great. Like, that's hard. When you're trying to be a competitive athlete, you are looking for people that you can look at scores with, see if you're, you know, sharpening the iron and everything else. And we do the Saturday, so like, it's an opportunity. But that was one of the main things that was a deciding factor in their decision to get one-on-one coaching, because they train by themselves for the most part. They're a coach in a gym. They have some people that they train with, but I don't want to say they're not very good. They're just not on the same path as this individual to try and get really, really good. And that in itself is good, but not great relative. Like, it's almost like chatbot in a way. It's a great added value. We have a great community. We have people who are really fit, and we have people progressing, and everybody's at a different stage, and they can communicate, share ideas within the community. And that's true for blog programs and message boards and things like that. But then, you know, once you turn the computer off or you shut your phone off, then what do you got? Right. Versus like, even if like with us, with one-on-one coaching, like all of my athletes, you know, can text me, and if I'm not coaching or training myself, they're going to get a response back or a voice message back. And you won't get it with chatbots. So there's just a lot there, and they get the answer to the nuance of the question. It's like today, Melissa Ellis was in here asking me and like texting you at the same time. And she was like, I just want to know where I'm at in my fitness. And like, you could put in all your scores from a lot of things and give it to chatbot, and they're going to tell you, based on the information I have, you are considered an elite athlete and you're in the top whatever percent. Like, because I saw the thing going around with a 400-pound back squat, and how it's like, I get like, if you Google it right now, how many people in the world can do a 400-pound back squat? It's like 0.0 whatever 0.12% or 2.1% or whatever it
Uh-huh.
was. Anyways, I copied it over, put it on Luca's because he just PR'd his back squat
Yeah.
405, and I put it on his in the comments of his post. And like where was I going with that? You're looking at that output so much so that you're missing, so you're missing the point that you're so high up in the fitness realm. And so she's overly concerned about being, where am I at in the fitness realm versus like
Right.
where I'm at right now or in the
Right.
workout that I'm doing. And like, what am I doing right now?
Yeah.
Because she is
Yeah.
like really, when you look at it, like she was what, 50 something in the world for her age
Mhm.
group out of like what, 800 women.
Yeah.
So like out of that group, she's what, top 5% or whatever. And then you expand that to the world, and out of that group,
Yeah.
you're
Right.
so far down in your fitness that like really does it even matter? Like you're so effing fit that like that question is almost irrelevant, and you need a better question.
Right.
So with that, like you're asking, if you put that in a chatbot, you're asking chatbot the wrong questions. So you're going to get the wrong answer already because it's going to spit it out. And like if Luca's like, how many people can back squat? It's going to tell you 0.002% of people in the world. And that's great. You'll feel good. But then then what? Like if it's not going to know what Caden Hogan back squats,
Right.
unless like somehow one day it strips that information off the internet and then it tells him. But and it'll probably come to that. It'll be able to get to your Instagram and like pull all the words and everything. That'd be crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But anyways, so it's like that the AI approach is great for just like whatever. The template programming is great for just like the X's and O's of the day to a degree. Obviously, it's already telling you that's not optimal. But then you don't get any of that coaching element where I'm sitting back telling her, hey, be in the work that you're in, and like let's look at what you did, and then we break down what she did, and then I gave her some key points of like, okay, on the Echo bike, let's try. Could you go 2 cadence more than what you did?
Mhm.
I asked her the watts, but she didn't know. And then I was like, okay, well, it's 210 watts, but let's go a little bit more. And so it turned out to be like, okay, we're gonna go from 55 cadence to 57. So I put her on the bike and I had her go for the 20 calories, which is what you had her prescribed as. And she did it. And I was like, okay, so now ask yourself the question, would you be able to do those next two movements unbroken the way you did in the same speed and capacity? And she's like, well, no. And I was like, okay. So then we make even more assessments of like, okay, so today in the time, because you were doing like a time-based linear progression of building her capacity and robustness, that where are we making this decisions as an athlete based on what characteristics we're trying to improve? And are you even thinking of that? Is she even like writing it down and keeping track and then making decisions each day to day of like, okay, today I'm going to focus on the Echo bike cadence.
Yeah.
And then, cause you're going to Echo bike again. So like maybe today that was the decision, or today's decision was I'm going to ride the Echo bike sustained so I can do this other thing unbroken or work on this other characteristic within my capacity, or even like Ricky, when I were talking now, I was like, well, because we've been doing a lot of heart rate stuff with training and trying to get people to understand like when you go too hot, you're basically beyond your lactic threshold too. And like typically you cease exercise, and the reason why we don't is because we're really tough. But you do see it in other forms where people are hunched over or they take too long of breaks and everything else. And I would argue in mixed modal setting, that's ceasing exercise.
Yeah.
You're waiting for your body to reconstitute its energy stores enough to do another rep or like do another set. Whereas you watch elite athletes just kind of unbroken and smooth throughout. And then you look at their data and it's like they're never beyond their threshold, threshold 2. And it's like, yeah, or the work is so far out, like their lactic threshold 2, they have to, where let's say it takes some of us to get there in 4 minutes. Well, they're not going to get there until 9 minutes.
Right.
So if the workout's 7 minutes long, we're effed, and they're like, and so because of that, he's now like really tied to, I'm going to do everything in zone 4, which I don't think is a bad approach.
Yeah.
But then I explained to him today about, well, you have to have like undulating intensities.
Mhm.
And right now, you're doing everything at a zone 4. Like you went at a zone 4 yesterday for the EMOM. You went at a zone 4. Well, no, I think he went hard today, but I'm not sure. But either way, it's like, okay, let's say yesterday you did zone 4, and then today you did zone 4, and then tomorrow you come in and you do zone 4. And then you're always getting that same training stimulus as zone 4.
Right.
What days are you going to bring it down to zone 2? What days, like, are you going to take it easy through a Metcon? What days are you going to just send it and let shit hit the fan and just push up on your maximum threshold? Like, that's the job of a coach. And if you're super intuitive, or you have a bunch of knowledge, or you've been doing this a while, then like you could do that for yourself for sure, with the help of AI, I guess. But it would be much easier, to engage in the process with a coach, whether that's in person or one-on-one remotely, and building that back and forth. Because now I've been realizing that, like, I think some people wanted to know that question that Melissa's asking.
Yeah.
Is like, where am I in the we'll get to those questions. Where am I in the competitive landscape? When she should have asking is like, what should I be doing to increase my capacity?
Right.
Because the workouts themselves, like the workout today that you wrote for her, is going to by nature increase her capacity. It's similar, like I told Meg today when she was coaching at 9 a.m. And I told my classes that I coached in the morning, the workout that I wrote, which was 21, 15, 12, 9, and it's labeled classic CrossFit. Like, and today was our high intensity day of the week. And I try to tell the members, well, I don't try, I tell them through a video every week about the days and where our focus is for intensity and what type of day it is. And whether they listen or they don't, who knows? It's on them. Then when I'm coaching in class, I try to make sure that as a coach, I'm guiding them towards that intensity that we're trying to hit with their undulating intensity patterns. And today was maximum effort day, right? Because the workout will induce maximum intensity.
Mhm.
Anyone who's doing a descending rep scheme in a CrossFit workout knows that it will give you maximum intensity, whether you're trying or not. Like, well, obviously, given the baseline context that you're going in to work out,
Right.
you're not just like going in like, well, I'm just gonna. Someone said that the other day to me about making workouts hard and making workouts easy, and I was like, well, yeah, you like, dude, you could take 2 hours to do a workout that's like 963 of rings and snatches, and that's obviously not easy. But that's not what I mean. It's like you're coming into a CrossFit class or you're coming into your training session, and some workouts are just hard by the nature of the structure.
Yeah.
And so like even Chatbot doesn't have that experience that some workouts by nature are just hard, like today's workout. And so today's intention and the workout matched. And then we just try to make sure that people continue exercise and don't stop, and they get out of the burpee and go right to the deadlift, and then they go back into the burpee, and then they don't stop, and they just let the volume accumulation and the descending rep speed increase their speed naturally, and give them a little shred of hope that they're going to finish soon. And there we go, off to the races with that intensity, right?
Yeah.
And then like tomorrow, we're going to do a moderate intensity at 70 to 80% effort, or RPE. And then on Friday, we're going to have a like medium-ish, a little bit lower intensity work that's on a team kind of thing. And we've been building out progressions of density in their gymnastics, and it's going to have some rope climb practice on a EMOM format. So it's got like rope climbs, movement, toes to bar, then rest. So there's rest built in, and that intensity should be cruising, working on the rope climbs, working on what we've been practicing for the last couple of weeks. And then on Saturday, we have a really nasty team workout. So Wednesday and Saturday, we got hard intensity, right? And then next week, I could change that up because I'm not Chatbot, and I could do hard intensity on Tuesday and hard intensity on Friday and give them a whole whirly bird. You like, who knows? That's not going to be the case though. The intense day is on Thanksgiving Day. Don't miss our session. Everybody,
Nice.
come on Thursday. You are going to get effed. It's going to be great in the most positive sense. Everything you've desired out of CrossFit, wished and hoped and dreamed of, this is the workout. I built this workout. Tyler, you've seen the workout. You didn't give me feedback on the workout, but this is it.
It was good.
This is the glory of all glory. No Chatbot over here.
Yeah.
at all. Marissa and I thought of this one together because of a workout that she did at Wadapalooza the year she blew her elbow out. So almost 2 years ago. It's great workout. All right, let's go back to our AI. Let's see. Beyond the running studies, researchers show clear limitations in the generated exercise said because they don't screen for safety and progression. And like the analogy you gave, there's an individual who needed a deload week. And like if you got this AI generated program, you'd have to go in and type, hey, chatbot, I'm not feeling the greatest. That progression we built out, I need to have like a deload week. And it could do that, but you would have to have enough awareness.
Right.
And drop the ego to do the right thing. How many people, like even I give that example of like our intensities throughout our class. There are people that come in to train and even people in one-on-one that come in to train on site. And I'm like, listen, people, chill out. This is a chill day. And you got the 2 or 3 people just like sending it. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, just send it. It's fine. Like I might not see you for 2 days. So you need that intensity day. And we know that intensity drives adaptation and health and fitness. But then there's the person that just like we said, Ricky, everything's zone 4 right now. Well, what if everything was zone 5? Or what if everything was zone 2? Like it'd be super problematic and lead you down a road of like not progressing or injury or just like burnout because you're like, this is always hard. I don't really want it anymore. Chatbot ain't gonna save you from that. Let's see what Marissa say. Busted my elbow and then blacked out for the rest. Let's see. Oh, that she got wrong in the mashup. Yeah, she mashed together 2 other workouts, and I told her, I was like, "That's not the workout." And then she was like, "Really? Like it is." She was super adamant about it. And then I pulled it up. Like, oh, I was wrong. Let's pull up Renata's question first before we go on. How should the days be spread out training? Like, should zone 2 be between, or is it not necessary? It depends on your training load. Like, and that's let me come back to that one. Let's get through the AI and I'll come back to that. That's a really good question. There's a lot in there, and I don't want to say it depends because how I told Tyler last week, I was like, we're not going to say it depends. Let's see it. Adapting your own experiences and basing it off the progression made or not made. Yeah, you could do that.
I think she was talking about like AI can't do that.
Yeah. Nuance would be technique and positions. Yes. ChatGPT gives you the checklist for technique, but it doesn't know where your hips are shaped or how long your limbs are. Yeah, and you might not even know. Like the amount of people who have a understanding of anatomy, physiology, and anthropometrics, and then from there, you think about lever arms, fulcrums. Like, bro, come on. The physics, the amount of like physics understanding you have to know about force times mass and everything else. Like, come on, dude. Let's see. Do you think we were snatching though and limiting me looking around, which was a different one? Oh yeah, that's true. I was wrong. I was like talking to her because they had to do like these barbell movements together, and there was also a workout with ring muscle ups and snatches, and one person snatched and one person cleaned, and then like some other workout, and I put those together. Let's see. Marissa says, I bet you can send all your limb lengths into ChatGPT. You probably can at this point. And I know there's AI things that you can set up on your phone and like Coach's Eye style, and it will evaluate your movement. And that's all gravy. But again, like how far do you want to pull yourself away from human connection? And then selfishly, like I love the skill that I have that I've developed over years. Like it's kind of the argument. Like, would you rather listen to music that is made by a human or AI generated music? Yeah. And when you think about those ideas, like really sit with it and think about where the world's going and like what that does to you and like what are the implications over time. And that's you're effectively taking away a piece of human beings. Like we have made art since the dawn of creation. There's pyramids with drawings. Like it's crazy. You could take this thing way crazy. It's sit down and go, if we took away the ability to value something made from humans, like art, like music, or we took away the value of what I can do where I can stand in a room and look at 20 different squats and now give you like, oh, this person's moving this way. They look like they have dysfunction here. They've got some drop foot there, internal rotation of the knee or the hip, the tib and fib. They've got upper thoracic issues through their rotation or extension. They're anterior or posteriorly tilting their pelvis in a certain way. Like there's imbalance. Their left leg stronger from their right. Like that skill that I've developed over time, like when we lose that appreciation for that, like where do we go?
Right.
Like it just generally as humans, like where do we go from that? Like if you start to say, hey, I'd rather have music made by AI, even if the music was better, would you? I personally, just in that thought experiment, I'd rather have the shittier music made by a human, you know, than music written by AI.
Right.
Assuming I've been told this one's AI, this one's by a human. I would say, nope, I don't want that. I want the human stuff. Because to my
Yeah.
core, I know how valuable that is in general, outside of training and everything else.
Yeah, and well, I think you said it like it takes away part of the human. I don't know if you said the human experience or like just part of humanity, and I think that that's true because like you could, I mean, theoretically, if we're doing it for that, we could do that for anything, any of the gifts and talents that somebody has,
Yeah.
that you could just replace it with AI. So you devalue humanity in doing that.
You do. You definitely do. Which is crazy to think about. Cause like even like Marissa said, it's like programming written with love and care.
Hmm.
And that is like at the heart, the quintessential heart of it is like it could be I would take lesser programming that's written by a human than better programming written by an AI. And I'd
Yeah.
rather that person develop the skill and the craft and the artistry and the understanding and the baseline knowledge and technical capacities and practice and get as good, if not, well, at this moment in time in the world we live in, humans are still better than AI in all of
Hmm.
these, in most things. Like I think, because even like AI will reformat stuff and it looks good, but it's never better than people who have done it before in the past. Like we have a member who helps with and basically does formatting and judges it up of
Hmm.
our newsletter for our gym. And I used to do it. And I thought I was pretty good at it. And this person went to school for design. They do a much better job. And it looks great. And I appreciate, how that looks.
Yeah.
Just like that side of it. It's just like, oh man, and knowing that they're doing it and the outcome of it, and it could always be better, but you could say the same thing. Like AI right now, like there's things I'm like, throw this in the garbage. This is
Yeah.
trash. What are we doing? So, and you can say that as humans, I guess, but the fact that we are now in this world where like we have AI and we have humans, now we have this, we should still use AI, but it is definitely like a question we should be asking ourselves. Big
Yeah,
time.
I saw this, I don't remember exactly the quote, but it was something where somebody was like, when when AI was created, I was hoping that it would be used to do my chores so I had more time for my art and creativity,
Mhm.
not that AI was created for art and creativity so I had more time to do my chores or something along those lines. And I think that's true. Like I think like Mike said, he's like a coach could use AI to be more efficient, but it still doesn't take away the humanity of the coaching. And I
Correct.
think that when you use AI to enhance the human capacity, great.
Yeah.
But when it replaces the human capacity, that's when problems start.
Yeah. And that's already starting to happen. Like I agree with Mike. And we've talked about this before in the past. Like there's nothing wrong with getting a good prompt or learning something from AI. It's faster than your ability to search. Like there's, it's still a searching tool and it's still a tool that you need to use. We're just highlighting the inefficiencies of it still. And then also just the ripping of human fabric from our society. And
Right.
even in training. I mean, and that's what we're talking about. And like, it's a bigger conversation around that stuff. But yeah, I mean, even this here, the next slide with the limitations, things that we've already touched on, is like it can't sense fatigue, stressors, injury risks. It can only reflect on information it receives. There's a gap between the algorithmic structure and the real world training remains significant. and runners still rely on experience and intuition to adjust their plans. So same thing with the coaches. Like if you have a coach or if you're coaching yourself, like you can't ever, there's nothing that could ever know what you significantly know, in that moment in time.
Right.
Although I didn't want to work out today, I felt like trash and I still did a really good job and I beat the workout. So there's that. So even I didn't know, and then the debate ahead. AI is not replacing coaches, but it is influencing behavior. And that's really what we're talking about. It's the rise of a broader question for like the sport. How much structure should runners take from AI, and where does it live in experience? Is basically what Mike Hughes was talking about. And so it's just really, it is worth discussing and talking about. And that's why I really like this post that was brought to my attention, because it is worth discussing and like us bringing it up and just saying, hey, it's out here. This is the limitations. This is what we see and we believe. And I mean, look, the AI also builds to your bias. Like we were doing a coach's call last week and I was talking about ring muscle up progression. And then I put in an AI, and because I use AI to like do a lot of like chat GPT, I'll give it questions and then I'll give it like ideas. So I like to use it personally for reformatting because I'm not very good at structure or being like linear in my thought process when I like talk about something, or like even in these shows where I'm just like kind of going, I bounce back and forth and I try to stay on point, but I'm a human and I get lost. So it's just better when you're presenting yourself to have something that's more structured. That's why I talked about Audio Pen last week and helping with that. So I'll take something that I'm building for somebody or an idea or thought process and like, okay, would this work? Here's what I used. Here's what I'm seeing. Here are some results. Here's this, like what's on the internet out there that might be similar, or what does this look like? Or could you reformat this in a better way or make suggestions to it? And I just want to see what AI comes up with. It's similar to like, checks and balances, I guess, but it's enhancing my ability to learn, present information, give original thoughts and ideas, a format that people who don't think like me can digest and read and understand. So like what Mike is saying, like that gives you a lot there. The one thing I don't like, and it's only for Mike because he's in the nutrition space, I have seen people basically on their Instagrams promote as like business coaching, to go into Instagram and get like 6 recipes, or not Instagram, chatbot, and you prompt it to give you 6 recipes for high protein. I'm not saying that's not a bad idea, but I wonder how many times a coach on the internet does that for nutrition coaching, and they get basically all the same recipes. Like how unique do you think a chatbot like ChatGPT is in that question? It's lazy. It is lazy.
Yeah.
And then what they do is they go sign up for my 6-week challenge or whatever. And then I'm going to give you an email with recipes and motivational whatevers. And we're going to track our hydration. When I say this, I'm like thinking of the most quintessential, like the 75 hard thing,
Yeah.
but also like, but just any like these influencers who are like, hey, sign up for this thing so I can get your email and then sell you something else later. And, or, hey, sign up for this thing. It's $30 and we're going to do this stuff together. And though I don't have a problem with it, as long as like Mike said, it's pretty lazy. So if the interaction is really high, like let's say you get on a once a week Zoom call with everybody and like you guys are talking over ideas and everything else. All right, whatever. Like, cool. Use your chatbot to give those things and you're giving more value. But at the end of the day, like I hope and would like to think that people are making their own 5 recipes and then putting it in a chatbot to get it reformatted so it looks nice if they're not somebody, or they don't have somebody that can reformat. Like I talked about our lady who does our email, like she's our human chatbot.
Yeah, but that's still like they're doing the grunt work, and it's just like spot or making it spotless. So,
yeah, that's what I mean. I'm hoping that people do that because, like Mike said, that's lazy. People do that, but I have seen
I don't doubt that
business
at
and
all.
fitness coaches telling people to go into chatbot type in this prompt, and like they'll give the prompt in the caption,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll give you, and then go online and sell your 6-week program. Like that's legit, like a business tactic that some of these people are giving out free content for. Dude, I don't even want to get on content. I thought about this the other day, and when I posted the raw footage thing, because I
Mhm.
thought that was fun. I was like, oh, I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to put it up as is. And I mean, I like editing. It's fun. Like I like making those little videos, and I like talking over them because it's fun for me. And
Mhm.
I don't really know how much value they even give at all in any way, shape, or form. I just like it, so I do it. But I put up the raw footage, and I was thinking about, I was like, man, because I've been trying to actively scroll less on Instagram,
Mhm.
and it's been working a lot. Like I'm just not gonna do it. And I've also reframed my thought process. Like, think about this: when you scroll on Instagram, how much of it is like you're watching commercials?
Oh, I feel like it's like a third of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, dude, people are watching like mini commercials. And I thought about that because someone was like, basically like feeling, it's like the commercials like, do you have these symptoms? If so,
Yeah.
you can pick up this. It was like, I saw one and I was like, oh my God. It was like, you feeling fatigued in your training? Check the comment below. And then it's like a chat bot written thing of like, basically like you're overtraining, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
And I was like, man, this is just a commercial for like the next. I was like, it's crazy. I don't even
Yeah.
know what. And then I Googled because I started Instagram early on, and I was like, I know what the point of Instagram is. It really was supposed to be like instant like photos. Like the
Right.
whole point was a photo app. That's why the little thing on your is a
Mhm.
photo. It's a little photo with like whatever sunrise, orange, yellow, pink, whatever. Um, it was meant to share. It was a photo app to share your photos from your phone,
Yeah.
and that's why there was all the filters that they had originally, and then obviously like TikTok and all these other things, and Facebook bought it and everything else. But like when you think about like what it was meant for, it was to share your art, like human art that
Mhm.
people saw things in the world and thought was really cool, so they take a picture of it and share it with their friends or their followers. And like minimally, like before, it was like minimal captions.
Right.
Like there wasn't this like,
It's like 140 characters or something.
yeah. And now it's like, check this below and watch my 3-page essay. And then, oh, by the way, not saying that we don't do it. Like we're obviously running a business, and people running a business should still do that. I'm not trying to shame anybody, but I was just like, it is a thought. Like if you're creating content and you're looking at it and you're like, this is just a mini commercial. Like why? Just leave it
Mhm.
alone. I just don't need it. I don't need it. I also thought about this with like CrossFit, like their ads and their mini commercials recently. Like now I like feel weird about watching them. Like I'm just watching a commercial. I don't need to watch
Yeah.
this. I don't really need to watch anything. Mike, I want to watch your commercials. Mike Hughes. What do you say? This is why half the nutrition coaches sound the same. Yeah, because they get the same coaching. They use chatbot and they say, look, that's gonna be my thing now. I'm gonna say, check out the caption. Let's just say something stupid in there in the captions. Just something silly. So people look at it. I don't know. I thought about that. But man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't get away from it now. Now that I think that about most
But it,
things.
I think social media has so infiltrate. Like I can't think of anything that doesn't involve social media, like any kind of business or industry or anything
That's
where
yeah.
social media is not a part of, like a big part of their marketing or just how they do things in general.
Yeah, I mean that's why I made the joke in my caption where it said real life, like REEL
Mhm.
life. I don't know if anyone caught that. Little play on words. So smart. Not like that's the first time anyone's ever said that. Uh, no, I was thinking about that though. I was just like, yeah, like I think, and the AI thing, and like the coaching, and yeah, and I'm super grateful that there aren't people that come in to the gym and say, because that would get really annoying and really old really fast. If someone was like, oh, I got this AI squat program that I want to do, I'd be like, oh my God. kill me. It'll get bad. Because it's just a thing where like, okay, you don't really care about me being here, so I don't necessarily need to be here. And that could get really exhausting. I was thinking about that too in the context of like, CrossFit gym owners in general. Thought about this the other day too. Because I put a lot of effort into our program design, and my number one belief is that the training should be to build human adaptations, and that's what we're seeking primarily. Like job number one, the job is the training, the exercise, the physical adaptations and progressions that you would get as a human being. That's like priority number one, and then there's obviously all the other ones, like the community and connection and camaraderie, those things, the educational piece, that kind of stuff. But I was like thinking about like, man, I kind of understand why some gym owners, because for a long time, like think about how many gym owners like close up shop, or you hear some of the members like, oh, they just didn't really care anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and they lost interest. And I was thinking about that to a small degree. I was like, man, how much harder would it be? And this is like back in the day. I don't hear it as much now. I think people who are like gym owners or micro gyms, regardless of whether it's CrossFit or anything else, like at this point in time, there's so much competition that most people who own a gym actually really care. So they're not going to close,
Mm-hmm.
and they have enough resilience not to, I hope anyways. But I was thinking about it. I was like, man, that's why. Like, think of how many people come in and just, if like people start coming into class being like, oh yeah, I chat botted this. It's like, whoa, shit, man, I did this. I've done this for 15 years. Like you didn't need a chat bot, I don't know, your sciatic nerve pain. Like I can help you with that. I have a ton of experience. And you hear that enough. Like you think about like the person that you're in front of, whether that's because for this scenario, it's me or the coach.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go into other things, I'm trying to be better about like just being hyper respectful of the human being and their expertise.
Yeah.
In just everything, any place I go into, because I could see how like coaches would get run down over time, and that's why they start to not care.
Yeah.
Because you just
I've been starting to do that same thing. Just because of the like coaching in a gym for so long, because this was happening before AI, where people would come in, they're like,
I can make it work.
Googled this, and I think I should be doing this, right?
Yeah,
and it's like,
AI
okay,
and
well,
Google are the same thing at this point.
yeah,
But yeah,
like they came in and like we're there. You are purchasing our time and our expertise for your help in your fitness, and you
even if you
go
don't, just like as a side, even if you don't know the answer, you're effectively getting paid to go find the answer for them.
exactly 100%. Like that's our job, and you're going to ask the internet instead of letting us do it, or we tell you from not only our knowledge but our expertise, and you go, but that's not what the internet says, and then you choose to go with the internet, and it's like I always liken it to a person that doesn't feel good. They go into the doctor and go, I need to figure out what's wrong with me and get better. The doctor comes back and goes, okay, well, here's what's wrong, and here's how you get better. And then the person goes, I don't want to do it that way, and they just leave.
And the internet's this.
Yeah.
I know it's happening in a lot of industries. That's why it's just in general. Like that's a good analogy. It's happening with that, and you should like definitely trust your doctors and like have open conversations. Same thing with like your CrossFit coach or your one-on-one coach or your music teacher or like whatever. Like open up the dialogue and not be like what AI said. But I do like how some people, one of our athletes in here was laughing because she was like, well, I went home and I looked at, you helped me with my snatch setup, and I went home and I asked chatbot a bunch of drills, and she was like laughing because she knew like, hey, that's like not what I should be doing. I should be asking my coach and asking like me for help, and and she knows. But it was just funny how like that is a thing where like we're laughing about it, but there are people like you're saying who will take it very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another like side of the whole human thing and chatbot thing that is like really crazy. Like take it for information, still be inquisitive, still be curious, but like with a level of like respect for the person that you're interacting with, especially in the degree at which you know what that person's been doing.
Yeah.
It's just like it's tough. I've been trying to be better about that. Like oh no, they're the expert. And if they mess it up,
Right.
they messed it up. It's like, all right, well, they're just not either they're not as good as, perceived, or they just are different in a different spot in their progression of learning
Yeah.
and like give them an opportunity. Which is like easier said than done. Don't not say anything though. That's word of advice though. Like if somebody messes up, be like, hey, yo, you messed that up. Like hold them accountable so they can like get better. If they don't know, they can't get better. But
Right.
yeah. Listen. So the main question is, could AI replace the coach? I think the hard answer is not yet.
Yeah.
And not ever really. I don't know. There's just something about human beings. That's what really made me think about with this post when I was looking at it. I felt a little sad, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because like think about this. Like we have this great tool and it's amazing. And like Mike Hughes said, we should be using these tools, but like at a small level. Okay, so back in the day, I'm old enough. I'm old enough to say pre-internet because I was pre-internet in my elementary school years. And so and not really that much. Like I'm like someone who's 60 years old could identify with this much more than me. But even I said like the Rolodex the other day,
Mhm.
and like even like the Dewey Decimal System, like that.
Mhm.
I was like, what the action of, because it's far too easy to get on and just like type something in and Google it, and that's great. That's where we're at in the world, and we can't go backwards. When we could try, like we just put a bomb on everything, and then we'd be in trouble. But it's far too easy to get information, which pulls us further away from the process of gathering information.
100%.
And it's like back when like we didn't have the internet, and I guess like people, the knowledge is smaller, but I don't know how much knowledge a lot of us can handle. I think that's where we're starting to see a lot of problems in general. Like too much knowledge is a bad thing. Like you can be dangerous to yourself and others with too much knowledge. Like you could back squat, you could Google and look at back squatting every day and like blow your knee out and have to get a
Mhm.
knee replacement because it was inappropriate for you to back squat every day because you read online or the internet that that's how you're going to increase your squat. And it is a way. It might not be the right way for you. And there was not enough evaluation and assessment to make that educated decision. You know, there's a lot of people who won't even like ask. They'll just see it or they'll Google it. I'm going to do that. Don't ask a coach or a trainer. Like you hear one nowadays, you hear one podcast, you hear some Huberman podcast or Peter Attia, which I love those guys. I love the information, Stacy Sims, everybody. I love it all. It's great. But you hear one thing, you hear our podcast, and then you go do that singular thing without asking follow-up questions, getting in touch with a coach and evaluating things, just reading more, getting opposing views. You
Mhm.
take the squat every day, like Google or ask chatbot, what's wrong with squatting every day? What's good with squatting every day? Like go through the learning process. And I know that there are people who still go through that learning process, but most people don't. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like the hardest thing of where we're going with this. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to say this kindly. I feel like our world's getting dumber, and it's because people don't have to use critical thinking the way they used to because they can just
Yeah.
Google stuff, you know?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that honestly is why you can never replace the coach. I feel like it's gonna be like the Hunger Games out here. Like we're gonna be the people with the knowledge, like in District 1. So much knowledge that people in District 12 just fighting over bread, Yeah, that's such a good analogy. You haven't read those books. They're good. That's a good read. Or we get the other one, Terminator, where AI like becomes self-aware and just
Oh,
tries to
Skynet. Yeah,
Skynet,
there it is.
destroy the human race because we're a danger to ourselves and others. So then it attacks us. Crazy. Crazy. Anyways, I don't think that answered any questions for anybody, but it was cool to talk about.
Yeah.
I like it. But it did make me sad for humanity of like you said, we're losing critical thinking process. We're losing connection with people. I think it makes us more divisive too, because people can read something and like
Absolutely.
I would say about like the first thing you see ends up becoming your bias, and
Mhm.
then it's really hard. It's like the news articles like CrossFit's dangerous, and then they found out that those people who did the research study on it that backed the New York Times article actually lied, and they've been stripped of their PhDs. CrossFit sued them. They won the lawsuit. There was all kinds of stuff, and there was a news article that they changed whatever. What are they? Redactment. They had a
Yeah.
redactment, but no one that didn't make top news. There wasn't like ABC, more Good Morning America. This just in: CrossFit is not dangerous for you, and PhD doctors lost their licenses and PhDs because they lied. There was nothing. All
Right.
people remember is, well, CrossFit's dangerous. Science said so.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, oh man, dude, crazy. It's gonna push us farther from the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
serious.
always bad.
Yeah. Like back squatting every day. Don't do it. I mean, the hard thing is Noah did Squattober and got like a 20-pound PR or something.
Yeah.
He's basically squatting every day, but at the concession of everything else.
Right.
Because he got the back squat PR and that's great, but then he wanted to do that because a group of the firefighters were doing it, I guess, or like a group in his gym or something, and he wanted to partake, which is great. You got to do that sometimes, and like the PR is great, but also him complaining about breathing heavy a week later and all this conditioning is not is also not great. So like you make those concessions,
right?
Yeah, I mean, Marissa did tell him, "Hey, like you're gonna lose fitness on this because you're squatting a bunch. Like there's no time for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
AI is not going to tell you that. Oh, by the way,
yeah.
Oh, by caveat at the end of your chatbot. So you're also going to lose fitness when you engage in this process of squatting, and good luck. Man. Anyways, that's all I got. That was a good Instagram post, though. I like things like that. Gets you thinking.
I like it because it was fair, because it talked about the usefulness of it, but also the drawbacks of it. It wasn't just like you should always use it, Chat GPT.
Yeah, it's a good tool. I don't know. Mike might need to convince me. I'm less and less inclined to use chatbot for training stuff. I use it for other things, but I'm probably like that's probably a bad practice also because the way I feel about it pushing out anything for exercise and fitness is probably true for the other things that I ask. But I ask it like random stuff.
Yeah.
Like I like use it like Google now. I'll ask it like weird. Like I wanted to know, and I didn't even get an answer for it. But who was the young girl who was like famously for going into the all white school? Because I was trying to think of like very profound women in history, and I couldn't think of it. I haven't asked chatbot yet. Now I'm asking you. But anyways,
yeah, I don't know her name.
The other one I was saying, I don't even know if Meg even really knew all the ladies I was saying because I said Sacagawea, and I don't even know if she knows who that is.
She has to.
I don't know. She's not a coin. That's not what
exactly.
That's not what she's famous for. People. Oh my god, people are getting mad. You don't know. I mean, this coin is sick actually because it does have like the like octagon edges, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the sicker coins that has been made.
Do you have one?
Yeah, $50 are also really sick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crazy. Do they still have those?
I mean, they exist, but they're obviously not making them.
Dang. I'm gonna ask them to bring them back with my taxpayer dollars. Hey, can you bring these back?
Side note: you see they're discontinuing pennies.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they cost more to make than they are to use. That sucks. It's a shame. It's a conspiracy theory. They're gonna make everything electronic, so then they can do like what they did in Russia in 1992 and just delete all of our money out of our bank account. Chat GPT it. Anyways, yeah. Well, it's not going to replace the coach. It's got pluses and minuses. Let's see what real quick what Renata's question was, and then we'll end it there.
Okay.
I figured out how that happens.
What happened?
How I get kicked out.
Oh,
Because on my MacBook, when you slide different directions, it'll like refresh your page. And so it slides. It's when it goes to the left, it just does it. Crazy. All right, real quick before we go, real quick. This is gonna be another 10 minutes. How should those days be spread out into training? And should zone 2 be in between or not necessarily? So everything is based on like training load. You definitely want to develop an undulating training load for each week, even though weeks are a construct in general. For the training phase, you want to figure out what imposed demands, training load, are getting put onto the athlete. Obviously, when you build training, you have an intention of the training load and the intensity levels or loading parameters or tonnage moved. And so you kind of already know how that's going to look. And what you don't want to have happen is like throughout the week have really high training days, unless the athlete can handle it, followed by no recovery, which would be like really high training days all the way across. And you can control that through reps and sets, training intensities, structures of workouts, intentions, notes, all that stuff. And yeah, an easiest thing to do would be like for CrossFit, because you do need high intensity. You could decide, I'm going to do a polarized training method. So one day you could have really high intensity, whatever that is, whether that's actual high intensity or high intensity or high volume weightlifting. It could be heavy, low volume weightlifting. It just really depends on what quote unquote high intensity is for that individual. Let's just do it with Metcons. So like a hard effort Metcon that's around 3 to 7 minutes, pushing yourself to near maximal effort. Then the next day you might want to do a zone 2. And then you could come in and say, I'm going to do as far as like training distribution, I want this athlete to have 3 days of high intensity, 1 day of low, and 2 days of moderate, or if they're training 6 days a week, or 3 days of high intensity, 1 day of low, and 1 day of moderate. And that would be a pretty solid training distribution for most people, because you're getting all of the parts for CrossFit. So then from there, you figure out where you want to put those in the week based on each week, each progression, or what you're trying to work on and what you need to do to recover from that training load. So you could have a high intensity day, low intensity day, high intensity day, moderate intensity day, and then another high intensity day. And that would be fine for like 5 days of training, or like an a rest day in there, obviously. You could be prepping somebody for a 3-day competition and be doing like low, moderate, high in that same training distribution of 3 high intensity days, 1 low day, 1 moderate day. So it really depends on, and that's like just 2 examples. I could make a million more examples of for the person, what they're training for, what they're prepping for, where they're at. If they're an athlete, like a sport athlete, where they're at in their season. Are they in off season? Are they in preseason? Are they in season? Are they postseason? And how many days a week they should be doing so they have maximum recoverability to the training or imposed demands that they're looking for. And then outcomes of staying sharp. So there's like a lot there that you could play with. And that's where even that itself could become so individualized that an AI could not build that out. I mean, the amount of information you'd have to give the AI at this point to make a pretty good training distribution for intensity and recoverability, it would be really extensive to try and hit it on the head. Because even as a coach, like you're gonna write this idea and you're gonna go through a training block wherever they're at in the phase, and like we said, things are gonna come up. So and adaptations too. You might find through the first week of you're going high, let's say high, moderate, high, low, high for training load. and you're like, oh, it's really not working. They're getting under recovered, and they're actually doing high, moderate, low, and then maybe high again, because they're so fatigued from the first high day that you might have to switch it the next week, where you go moderate, high, low, rest day, so nothing, and then high, maybe back-to-back highs, and then they have a rest day, and see how they respond from that, and backloading the week, or like putting in the center. There's lots of ways that you would try to figure out the training distribution that's appropriate for that athlete's response relative to their recoverability of what you're looking to achieve. And that's not even bringing into, like I said, like a sport athlete. Like, let's say they play games on Thursdays or whatever, Tuesdays and Fridays. I was like, well, when would they train? You know, and then you play that game and play that out. Like, that's, I mean, the easiest one is peaking people. So people who are like getting ready for a competition, because you just have them train hard Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and like low to no to moderate on Thursday, and then moderate, easy on Monday, and then Tuesday, exposure and like priming, and then Wednesday, like a longer aerobic, and then they go hard again for 3 days in like 2 to 3 weeks out lead up, to get them accommodated and accustomed to a 3-day competition for CrossFit. That's like the easiest one. Because even if they don't, like, you're not looking for any like real long-term adaptations. You're just looking for them to get accommodated to the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and feel them recovering through those 3 days. And you could do that if like people don't have that freedom on the weekends. You could do that on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday format, and then play around with those and just having them go back to back to back. Yeah, there's a lot there. Hopefully that was enough detail in a short enough time to explain that question.
It's a good question.
Yeah, it was great. AI can't do that. I mean, AI can give you ideas, but then you got to figure it out. So just get a coach. It's easier. That's what you're paying for. Let me figure it out, and you just do the work.
Facts.
Sick. All right. Last week. No, last week was pretty good. This week goes up. Meh. How would you rate our podcast today? Let's start doing that. I would say it's about a 6.
I was gonna say 6. It
Pretty
just,
good.
yeah, it wasn't bad, but
Not super controversial.
yeah.
Presented some information. Comment in the chat. We could always get better. It was funny. It's a 7. All right. Cody gave us a 7.
Thanks,
Right,
Cody.
so thanks, dude. Man, yeah. All right. Like and subscribe. That was a good week. Kind of low week, you know? Kind of a low week. I think that happens.
Of course.
How does some of these podcasters do it?
They have chat write it up for them.
Yeah, probably. They have guests and like, I don't know. When's the last like I use Sevon as a gauge. You know, he goes live every day.
Yeah. I don't
Not
know
every
how he
day.
does
Does
that.
he go live every day? I mean, but he doesn't talk about CrossFit stuff every day. That's
thing. True.
I could do that. I could talk about current events, ruffle feathers. It'd be fun. People they would get too mad about it. Just like, come on, it's just talk radio. All right. Well, share with your friends, like and subscribe. If you missed the first portion of this, go back. If you're watching this at a later date, I'm sorry you're gonna miss that cool seminar or a Q&A. What's it called? What is he calling it?
I think it's a Q&A.
Q&A by Max Elhaj. Workshop. Yeah. Where you're going to get inside the webinar. You're going to get a review of results of past training cycle, example progressions that connect barbell gymnastics and machine work, example workout structures to challenge different aspects of strength endurance. If you're serious about coaching people to become better at expressing strength under fatigue, this is the call to start. There you go. We'll be on it. We like learning. I'm glad I read that. Feels good. All right. Catch you guys later.
Bye.